Today, if you ask me about 5 tips to crack the UPSC exam, my answer would be nothing. It was year 2015. I had just received my orders that I have to report to Soroda headquarter, which is Soroda block in district Ganjam in state Odisha. It was my first job. It was the job that I always wanted to be in. It was my calling and it was my time to deliver and perform and show my potential. I was very excited. I traveled from the district headquarter around 3.5 hours to the block headquarters. I reached at 5 p.m. I went to the place where I would be calling my home for the next few months. It was a mere one room facility with a broken roof, almost non-existent toilet facilities, no light, no mobile tower facilities, and absolutely nobody to talk to. And as I reached there, the help who was provided, he had kept a box of anti-venom medicine in my room just in case I would need it if any snakes had come. And that was the tipping point wherein I was very scared. I could not sleep through the night. The insects, the fear of insects, the fear of snakes was so high in that region that I cried myself to sleep that night. It was a very difficult night. Cried myself to sleep and always kept questioning myself, was this a job I was meant out to do? Was this my true calling? Later on, I'll talk about how it turned out to be. Hi everyone, I'm Shashanka. I am an IAS officer and IIT graduate from IIT Madras, Electrical Engineering. And today I wanted to talk to you about my journey of how I got here. But let me tell you at the outset that it has not been a struggle. It was a time that I had prepared for the goal that I had set out, and it was a very well thought out, clear decision that I wanted to be in the civil services. This job was my true calling, and I had realized it very early on, and I had worked towards getting here. So today I'll be talking to you about how a few personality traits can help you inculcate what this job needs of you, demands of you, and how you can inculcate those personality traits right from the beginning. So around class 9, class 8, I was sure that I wanted to at least get a 90% in my class 10 boards. Worked hard, achieved it. Time to move to the next goal. The next goal was to crack IIT. Again, worked hard, cracked it in my first attempt. Towards my final year, when I was supposed to be choosing whether I want to go for a placement or for an MBA or for any of the natural choices that most of us possessed, I had taken a very strong out of way career option, which was the civil services. It was quite unheard of in IIT Madras. How I came to know of it is probably what I will be discussing throughout the talk. But I was very sure at that point of time that I will not be moving into tech and I will be moving into civil services. Another goal set, like always. But this goal, this problem statement was a rather big one. How do I start? How do I find my feet? Whom do I talk to? What optionals do I choose? Completely unaware. The only thing I knew was the goal that I set. Cut to today, let me bring you to what I do today on a daily basis. There are innumerable files that we have to clear on a daily basis. Files is not just writing with your pen. Files are basically, each file is asking you for a decision, is asking you for a well thought out, due diligent decision which will impact a few lives in and around that file. Continually, one has to deliver and at the same time deliver right, which means you're taking decisions on a minute-to-minute basis with or without research. If that's what the job demands, then that is what is expected of you. And what is expected of you is what you must actually be bringing out during your preparation phase. During the time I was preparing, one of the major challenges each one of us had to face was choosing our optional. And this decision took a few months for a few students and took a few years for a few students. And I deal with students on a daily basis. And I realize a lot of them keep asking me, what optional should I choose? And at that point of time, even when I was preparing, I was quite sure what optional I wanted to choose. And how did I choose it? I chose it by doing a simple SWOT analysis with myself, which is I had to check my strengths and weaknesses, what subject I was good at. Somebody else's subject would not suit me. So this exam is completely of making strategies breaking down the strategies, re-strategizing, all keeping yourself in the picture. So here I'd like to point out that taking decisions, right or wrong, sticking with your decisions or re-strategizing whenever needed is one of the basic necessity of the job as a civil servant. Secondly, this job is a transferable job. Initially, I was in Odisha for 2 years. Then I moved to Delhi. Then after that, I moved to Mizoram. And then I came back to Delhi. So now you can see that this moving of lock, stock and barrel requires you to adapt to different places in the blink of an eye. In the middle of the night, you get an order that tomorrow you were supposed to be going to Mizoram. And in less than 2 days, you pack up your entire house and move to Mizoram, to a new place in the northeast. You don't know the language, you don't know the rituals, you don't know the tribe, you don't know the food, yet you don't have time to wait to learn all these things and start delivering. So on day one, you have the pressure of delivering the service and also at the same time getting yourself to adapt to the new situation. Often I had witnessed a lot of students saying, I come from tier 2 cities, or I don't know this language, I don't know how I'll be able to get myself through this, or I don't know how I'll be able to speak through interview. This is unfounded. This is unnecessary. You have to only display your strengths. It could be of a language. If you don't know the language, try to pick up the language as much as that is required. In the beginning, when I told you I was posted in Soroda block, and that night I cried myself to sleep. The next day, I got up, got ready, got to work. It was right next to the inspection bungalow, and I thought it would get better. But the first day was not easy. It was a language I did not speak. A lot of people came with public grievances. I did not know a word of what they said. I did not know what they wrote. They wrote to me in Odia and gave me a piece of paper and asking for a few public facilities. And I did not even know how to talk to them. And I did not even know what were my powers, what were my responsibilities at that point of time, and how do I deliver. Physically, I was there, but psychologically, I was not ready for the job. However, it took a little time. It took a day or two. I made myself clear that this is what I wanted to do. This was where my true calling lied. I wanted to deliver, and this was my time to deliver. If I missed out on this first few months, and if people saw me as somebody who cannot deliver, who's scared by little snakes and lizards, that was too much for me to take. So I made up my mind that I will deliver. I will use this opportunity. I will adapt myself, learn the language, have an affection for the people, for food, and know them better and start delivering. And that's when I started delivering my public service. And trust me, there's been no looking back from that day onwards. When you're dealing with many subjects on a daily basis, 1 minute you're looking at veterinary, 1 minute you're looking at horticulture, the other time you're looking into food and civil supplies, you have different postings with, let me say, not necessarily always with prior knowledge. This is another ability what UPSC wants to check from us. What are they trying to check? That when you write your mains answer, what is your clarity? For example, there was one question in our mains: how did colonizers colonize the minds of Indians? Now, this question required a lot of examples. It required a lot of understanding of the subject, and it required clear understanding of each word in the question. So, how did I go about it? One, to understand the question very clearly, to break down the question into different parts and address them separately. Once you start to address them, first answer I had written was about 4 pages. Then I moved, I've written it again. Then you cut out a few portions which you thought were repetitive. Then you bring it down to 2 pages. Then you finally bring it down to 1 page. So this exercise over and over and over time, once you start doing it, you condition your brain in such a way that you're able to bring out a very crisp and clear answer, so that the examiner, when found with your question paper, will understand that the student is able to portray what he or she thinks in a very clear way in a very limited time. And this is one trait what the administration requires of you. So these are the traits that helped me find my calling and work towards it and be where I am today. I hope that you find your true calling as well and use these personality traits to find success in future. Thank you.
Josh Talks is now a Spotify exclusive podcast. The audio version of our talks will be available only on Spotify. If you like this video and you like to listen to more inspiring stories like this, please follow the Josh Talks podcast only on Spotify.
लगता था शायद मैं आईएएस बन भी जाऊं तो मुझे इंग्लिश शायद नहीं बोल पाऊंगा। मेरा नाम तबरेज़ आलम है और मैं बिहार से बिलोंग करता हूं। मैंने जो भी मेरा एजुकेशन मैंने बिहार से हिंदी मीडियम में मैंने प्राप्त की और लास्ट ईयर मैंने अपना ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट किया है। प्रेजेंटली मैं दिल्ली में रह रहा हूं और यूपीएससी का प्रिपरेशन कर रहा हूं। तो प्रॉब्लम जो सबसे बड़ा जो प्रॉब्लम होता है कि जैसे आप हिंदी मीडियम में स्कूल जब प्राप्त करते हैं तो क्या होता है कि जब कोई अगर आपसे कोई प्रश्न पूछता है इंग्लिश में तो आपको उसके बारे में जानकारी आपको होता है, बट क्या होता है कि लैंग्वेज का आप उस इंग्लिश में एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाते। इंग्लिश से तो बहुत डर लगता है क्योंकि मेरा इन्वायरमेंट ही नहीं है तो इंग्लिश से डर लगेगा, ये नेचुरल है। मैंने जोश स्किल एप्लीकेशन के बारे में मैंने सुना, तो मैंने जिस स्किल के बारे में सुना और जाकर उसे इंस्टॉल भी किया था और मैंने उसकी जो भी प्रोसेस है मैंने उसे जाना और इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग कोर्स के लिए मैंने क्लास स्टार्ट कर दिया। पहले तो थोड़ा बेसिक पोर्शन ग्रामर का बताया जाता है, उसके बाद वोकैब्स का जो प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ता है, उसके बाद रीडिंग प्रैक्टिस होता है और अल्टीमेटली आपको प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ता है आपके प्रैक्टिस पार्टनर से। 10 मिनट आपको मिनिमम बात करना पड़ता है, उसके बाद आपका एक जो कोर्स होता है वो कंप्लीट हो पाता है। मैं बोल सकता हूँ श्योरली कि मैं किसी से भी कोई भी पर्सन हूँ मैं उसे इंग्लिश में कम्युनिकेट कर सकता हूँ, मुझे कोई इशू नहीं है। सो जोश स्किल ने काफ़ी हेल्प किया मेरी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल को इम्प्रूव करने में। सो डेट वाई टुडे आई एम हियर। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक जोश स्किल who really helped me a lot to improve my communication skill. Thank you, Josh. And finally, I would like to say, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Thank you.